Buongiorno, today I'm making aubergine or eggplants if you are in America burgers, and they are absolutely delicious, especially for children. They love them. I made a start, of course, adults as well. I made a start by chopping an onion in very small pieces. I put a little olive oil in a pan and I add the onion to start sizzling away. I'm using a red onion, but you can also use a white onion. There isn't a rule on this. In the meantime, I'm getting my aubergines ready. I have sliced and cubed one already. I'm doing the second one. These are two, weighing approximately 600 grams combined. I'm slicing them first, now cutting them into strips, and then I will be making some tiny little cubes, just like this. I have a confession to make. This is the second time I'm making this video. I made it last week, and once I finished, I realized that when I was supposed to be recording, I was on pause and vice versa. So by the time I got to edit the video, it looked a bit odd. So I'm making it again. Never mind. Good excuse to eat them twice. I've also got a clove of garlic here, which I'm now chopping into tiny little pieces, and that will be going in as well. If you don't like garlic, by the way, not an essential ingredient, but if you do like, make sure that you have a nice large clove. So the onions are ready, and I'm going to be adding the garlic first. And immediately afterwards I will be adding the aubergines as well. Sprinkle a little salt, as this will also help releasing the water from the aubergines. Give everything a good mix and leave it on a medium to low heat, and place the lid on for a good 10 minutes, and then the aubergines should shrink considerably. They need to be totally cooked before we can continue with the recipe. And after 15 minutes, actually not 10, my aubergines are ready. And I've turned them off, and I'll let them now cool down for a few minutes. And I've transferred them into a bowl, as they will be cooling down considerably quicker. They've been cooling down for 5 minutes now, and although there is a little bit of steam coming out, I'm quite happy that they've been good enough for me to carry on. I've added a little bit more salt. I did put some salt before to get the water out, and now I added a little bit more salt for taste, so you'll have to judge it yourself once they're cooked. And you will know that they're cooked because they're nice and soft if you look, and also they become translucent. And I'll be adding a few more ingredients, and I'll start with some cheddar cheese. This is 100 grams, which I've grated. And I'm now topping up the cheddar cheese with some Parmesan cheese. By the way, you can use any cheese you like. I'm using cheddar because they'll make the burgers nice and creamy, but also the Parmesan cheese will give a little bit of contrast and punch to the courgette. But if you prefer a different type of cheese, entirely up to you. And I will be adding also some chopped parsley. This is frozen parsley, which I keep in the freezer. Of course, it's frozen and is incredibly handy. And also I'm going to be breaking in one egg. And using my spoon, I'm going to mix everything together to get a feel initially of the consistency before I add the breadcrumbs. So having made this last week, I know the measurements very well. So I'll start initially with 3 spoons of breadcrumbs to see how it goes. And I'm looking for a firm and not sloppy consistency. So I think actually I'm nearly there, but 1 more spoon most probably will be enough. There it goes. I'm using, by the way, dry breadcrumbs. You can also use fresh breadcrumbs if you wish. But whatever you do, make sure that the breadcrumb is the last ingredient you add, because that is what will allow you to regulate how sloppy or not it's going to be. And if you put it very early on, clearly it's going to be difficult. I think I need a little bit more actually. 4 spoons in this case is not enough. So it was 4 spoons last week, 5 spoons today. Clearly a lot depends on the size of the aubergines, but also the size of the egg. That's why I leave the breadcrumbs for last. And I'm ready to start making burgers. I will be using a shape used for baking. One of these. This is 8 centimeters in diameter. You can also use your hand. I will do one with my hand, or you can make one yourself. Maybe you can cut a yogurt pot. It doesn't really matter. But as I've got this one, I will be using it. So first of all, I will sprinkle a little breadcrumbs at the bottom. And I add some of my mix. I'm adding enough mix to make the burger approximately 1 to 1.5 centimeters thick. And I think actually the use of a spoon is ideal for the job. So push it down until you get a nice flat surface. and sprinkle a little more breadcrumbs on the top. Not a lot, you don't want them to be too dry. And pat it down with your finger to ensure that everything is pushed down. And by lifting gently the little shape up, you should get a nice burger ready. And that's one done. I'll do another one. I don't think there is a clean way to do this. It's a combination of using your fingers and a spoon. Pat it down with your fingers, and while you're patting it down, gently lift the shape until it's all done. Then go back and just make it flat. And I would definitely use a spatula to move it out of the way, ready for frying later. I said I would make one with my hand, so here we go. So I put some of the mix in my hand, and a little breadcrumbs as well. Put on the floor, and pat it down and start giving it a round shape. Turn it around so that absorbs some of the breadcrumbs. Give it a good pat so that it's nice and compact, and there it is, another burger done. And I'm done. I've made 9, they're looking beautiful, and they are now ready for the next step, which is cooking. I'm going to be using the same pan I did before, so I don't need to mess anything else up, but I'll be adding a little olive oil again at the bottom. As I've got 9, I'll do them in 2 different tranches, so I'll start with 4 first. And I've got the oil at a fairly hot temperature, but once it starts bubbling, you can see that that's happening. Turn it down on a medium heat, otherwise they will burn. So I'm going to go for number 4 out of 9. And to speed things up, I will be putting the lid on. You can also barbecue these, by the way, or you can put them in the oven if you wish. If you barbecue them though, make sure that you leave them to rest for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, so that they get nice and dense. Otherwise they will crumble away, and then you can easily use the spatula to put them on the grill. Within 3 minutes they're ready to be turned around, and if you look, they've got a lovely golden crust, and by keeping the lid on, they cook quicker, but also they stay nice and moist, so very, very important that. So I'll leave them for another 3 minutes and they'll be ready. And I think these are done. They are, yes, look, they're brown as well as on the other side. So make sure that the temperature is not high, it's medium-low, as the aubergines are cooked anyway, but you do want the egg to cook throughout, so they don't need a lot, but equally well, make sure you don't burn them. Oops. And they're all done. I've got 3 here ready for the photo, but I'm going to show you, before I go any further, what I do with mine this lunchtime. So I've got a ciabatta roll, which I'm going to be placing in the same pan where the burgers were cooking, as it's all greased up with the same oil. And I will let it brown for a little while. After just a minute or so, I'll turn it around, and I've got some Emmental cheese, which I'm going to be adding on each slice. And quickly turn it around and remove it from the pan. And number 2, place them on the board, and I'll pick a nice juicy burger and I'll put on top of one and cover it. I'll go along with a knife, cut it in half. Look at this beautiful burger, aubergine burger, steaming hot in my ciabatta roll. Time to see what it's like. Too big. Actually, I'm kind of pleased that last week's video didn't work, because I learned from it. Sorry. I didn't put any cheddar last week, just Parmesan cheese, and when I was testing it, it was very nice. Something was missing, some creaminess, and the addition of the cheddar today has made a big difference. So it's an ideal thing to do, especially for children, if you want to give them some vegetables. So delicious. You might have guessed it. Thank you for watching. I hope you make it, and if you do, please let me know how you get on. Ciao ciao, see you later, bye.